To plan a mission, we have to enter the plan view. Let's start with a blank mission. The first items to be placed in a mission are the launch and transition direction items. You do that by choosing the takeoff tool. Clicking on the map will add a launch and a transition direction item at the clicked location with direction north. By default, the distance between the launch and the transition direction item is at the recommended minimum of 300 meters. Before planning a mission, it is recommended to check the wind conditions for the time and place you want to execute your mission. With a predicted wind direction, you can point the path of the transition into the wind. Remember, both the front and back transition paths must be planned in such a way that the vehicle is pointed with the nose towards the wind while performing the transition. For this example, let's assume the wind comes from east. You can adjust the direction by dragging the transition direction item on the map. Make sure that you always keep the recommended minimum distance of 300 meters between the launch item and the transition direction item. As a matter of fact, you can choose any distance for these two items between 300 and 800 meters. The first waypoint in the mission command list is called a VTOL takeoff command. On the map, it is displayed as transition direction. This waypoint will be the position the DeltaQuad flies to after it has ascended vertically to the altitude defined in the VTOL takeoff command. We recommend a minimum takeoff altitude of 60 meters for all safety systems to function. Now we can create waypoints. Activate the waypoint tool from the plan tools. Click on the map to select the desired position. If needed, you can correct the position by dragging the waypoint on the map. This waypoint holds the same altitude that we set for the previous waypoint, in our case 60 meters. In the mission height display, at the bottom of the screen we can see now that the second waypoint holds the same altitude as the first waypoint. Let's change the altitude of the second waypoint. We can see in the mission height display that the mission height changes between these two waypoints. The green line below the orange mission height line indicates what the estimated ground elevation is. This gives us an overview whether or not we are still flying safely above ground level. The orange graph will become red in case a waypoint or the trajectory between two waypoints is lower than the ground elevation. That means that you have a collision with the ground. On the mission display, you can also see a collision between two waypoints. The orange line turns red when a collision with the ground is detected. When changing the altitude between two waypoints, QGroundControl will indicate the gradient, the degrees of climb along the path. The gradient should not exceed 10 degrees when ascending and minus 10 degrees when descending. You can add now more intermediate waypoints and change the altitude and their distances to your liking. For the sake of this example, the mission will be simple in form of a rectangle. To finalize the mission, you need to apply a land item. Select the land tool from the plan tools. Click on the map to select the desired position. In our case, the landing position equals the takeoff position. The last command is automatically positioned in a way that the DeltaQuad transitions into the wind. The land tool creates a loiter waypoint where the DeltaQuad circles and descends to the set altitude for the final approach. The loiter radius should be at 100 meters. The altitude of the final approach should be between 20 and 30 meters. You can change the radius and the approach altitude in the command editor of the landing pattern. The second item created by the land tool is the land item. The distance between the land and loiter item will be automatically set to 300 meters. You can change the distance in the command editor of the landing pattern. The recommended minimum distance between loiter and land is 250 meters. Now that we finalized the mission, we can double-check once more for ground collisions in the mission height display. The last step is to save the mission, or in case the simulator or DeltaQuad Pro is connected, upload it. If you plan a mission whilst the DeltaQuad Pro or the simulator is connected to QGroundControl, the launch item will be automatically placed where the DeltaQuad is positioned. For the land item, you will have the option to click anywhere on the map to set the landing point or set the landing point to the vehicle location. By choosing the last option, the landing point is automatically the same as the takeoff point. After planning a mission, make sure to validate the mission in the DeltaQuad Mission Validator.